function is f of x, which is the blue curve. And then we've drawn what type of line? Secant, perfect, which touches at P and Q. Let's say our point P is A, and then because we don't have what it is, we just know that if we sub in A, our y value will be f of A. And so if Q is B, where the x coordinate is B, so you can look at that down here, so that's A, and that's B. What will the y coordinate be? F of B, perfect. Whoops. And so if we were to calculate the slope using those points, what will the slope be? Get it? Yep, F of B. Perfect. Okay, so that's our slope using these points. We're going to use this equation and try to connect it with tangents, and the idea that we're doing with tangents. And when we have equations, you guys had said before that we went, for example, 20.9, 20.99, 20.99. So we got this line closer and closer and closer, so that it was closer to being a tangent. So if we follow this idea, it's actually going to come up with a whole new formula that you're going to do all kinds of exciting things with. But for now, we'll just stick with what we have here. So I'm going to add another. So as you notice, the second point, like yes, in the 1.1, that second point we didn't know. We had to estimate. And just like in advanced functions, we would move this Q point closer and closer. So instead of trying to find another point at B, let's figure out what is the difference between what we're moving the A. So for example, if we went across and we met up here, let's say this distance is H. Okay? So what would the B for the Q value? What would the Q value be down here if we started at A and then we went this far? What would the X be? Pardon? Q minus A. So Q is not the point we started here at A, and then we went this much more to get to here. So this spot will be A plus H. And then that way, everything was still related to that one point, right? We haven't created a whole new point at B. And so what will the Q be for that? What will the X be? You just told me? Yeah? And what will the Y value be? Okay. And now you have these points, which you can use to find the tangent, because we can get this closer and closer and just decrease this H value, and it's all going to relate to that point P. And so if we had to write the slope formula, what would it be here? We'll start, good. And then all over, good. And what do you notice here? Can this simplify? That's right. If you look at we have A and then we have a minus A. So those cancel out and we're left with just H. This is called, it's called the difference quotient. And later, once we start getting into limits, it will be called taking the limit by first principles. And so this is a start where we actually just found a formula that we're going to be using to help us with limits and derivatives later. And it's something so simple with slopes that you already knew.